could well determine the other side of eternity, how it works out, how it ends up. We're called to destiny. The sad part is many people, matter of fact, probably most people, will never realize that call in their life because they haven't answered, they haven't sought it. God doesn't play hide and seek. He don't play games. I mentioned a while ago about the untapped resources and potential that's in the local cemeteries. Every one of us, one day we're going to stand before God. That's the bottom line. You are going to leave this world. I'm going to leave this world. One way or the other. We're not here forever. And we need to start making wise decisions and choices now. We haven't been doing so. Because God has called you to destiny. Let me share it. I'm trying to land the plane. I really am. Some of you have heard this story. Some of you have not. Well, look, before I say that, let me say this. Whatever God has called you to, I think I mentioned this a long time ago probably. Whatever God has called you to, okay? He's called you first of all, of course, to be saved. He's called everyone to that. Then whatever destiny He's called you to fulfill. And let me simplify it by saying this. When we stand before God, if God, well, I'll just use myself as an example. God called me to preach. He called me to share His word, to share His gospel. If I was born and I lived and I died and I never uttered a word, I never had a relationship with God, I never accepted Christ as my Savior, I never followed the call in my life to preach, I never did any of that. I just lived and died and went on. When I stand before God, I will still stand before Him and give an account for being a preacher. Don't matter if I ever preached a sermon in my life. Don't matter if I ever won a single soul to the Lord in my life. When I stand before Him, I will give an account as to what He called me to. And you will too. When I was 9 years old, like I said, some of y'all know the story. I didn't know till I was a grown man. When I was 9 years old, and Mom, you keep me straight if I'm not repeating this right. Now understand, I got a good mother. She loves the Lord. She's Christian. But my growing up years, her dad, either one, wasn't where they were supposed to be. Wasn't raised in church. Went to Bible school, things like that, sometimes. They wasn't raised in church. So I never had this influence on either side of my family. But when I was 9 years old, she said she was washing dishes at the old home on Adams Circle. And I was out in the yard playing. I didn't remember a thing about this. And I came inside from playing to do what now? Making biscuits. Okay, I thought you were washing dishes. You're doing something in the kitchen anyway. And making biscuits then. Even better. But I came in, I looked up, and I made the announcement to her. Mom, you know what I'm going to be when I grow up? And she said, I don't know, son. What are you going to be when she's probably thinking along the lines of most parents probably think I was going to say something like a fireman or a policeman or astronaut, rock and roll singer. That's what she was probably thinking, yeah. A rock and roll singer or whatever, country, whatever. And she said, I don't know, what are you going to be? And I just said, I'm going to be a preacher. Just as dead serious. And then wheeled around and went back outside and played like nothing had happened. Now, I never remembered a thing about that. Even when she told me the story, I didn't remember it. I'm just going on what she told me. So at 9 years old, destiny was in my heart. And even though I wasn't aware and didn't know the plan of God, God knew. How many of you know and realize and understand that children can speak prophetically and never even realize they're doing it? Jesus said, out of the mouths of babes and sucklings. You have a calling. You have a destiny to fulfill. God has called you to. This child that we're going to dedicate today, God placed him here. with a calling, with a purpose, with a destiny in his life. It's up to his parents. We grandparents bear some responsibility, of course. And it's up to others as well, but it's basically primarily up to his parents.